today, our featured game, we are going to watch the Republic of Korea playing Estonia. Both of these teams can still qualify for semi-finals. We have 8 teams in the competition. We are about to go down to 4 for semi-finals, then medal games. And wait until you see how close this competition is. Only one team not able to qualify after this session today. All 7 teams, all the other 7, they have their fate in their own hands, some of them. Some of them will be looking to keep an eye on other scores going their way. The players being welcomed to the ice. I am certainly excited to see this session. I hope our players aren't nervous. Wearing the dark blue uniforms and throwing red stones, that is the Republic of Korea. On the left of the screen, you have Lee Yong-suk and his teammate on the right of your screen, Baek Hae-jin. How are they getting on so far? They have won 3 and lost 3. But if they can grab a win today, they will all but guarantee themselves a place in semi-finals. And today they are up against Estonia, wearing white uniforms, throwing yellow stones. On the left of your screen, that is Kathleen Riedebach. And on the right of your screen, that is her teammate, Ayan Dilau.
Korea versus Estonia.
E sulla pista di Repubblica di Corea contro Estonia.
They started off strong. They've had a few losses since then, but they still have an outside chance to qualify. That is how tight this competition is here at the Cortina Curling Olympic Stadium. They will be relying on other results landing favourably for them. But all 4 games here in this final session are critical to the final standings for our 8 teams. Wait until you see this. China already qualified. A huge pile of teams on 3 wins and 3 losses. Estonia, who we're going to be watching today, just keep in touch with 2 wins. If they can get to 3 wins, they have an outside chance of still qualifying for semi-finals. And so it is really all to play for. We will talk about how we separate the teams if we still have a big pile of teams with all the same points, the same win-loss record. But first of all, let's say hello to Park Kil-woo, the ever-cheerful Korean coach. And at the other end, there is Alexander Andre. Oh, he has magically produced a heart for us. How nice. And whatever happens out there, Team Estonia, they should be very proud. The ice temperature, the ice conditions, the team working round the clock overnight to make sure the ice is in the best condition for curling. It's not like skating ice. It's much colder and harder, and it will be Estonia leading us off.
Yep.
And one of the rules in wheelchair, well, mixed doubles curling rather than wheelchair specifically, is that you have, of course, only 2 players, not 4, and only 5 stones we throw because we have 2 stones already placed. You can see them there in the picture. And the throwing order is a little bit different compared with 4-person team as well. You have 1 player who throws stones 1 and 5, and your teammate throws stones 2, 3 and 4. Now you can switch at any point. Switch positions, you can do that every end if you wish. And we've seen it occasionally in this competition. And first throw of the game for Baek Haejin. And there is quite a statement of intent from the Korean. Slipping behind T, but finding the forefoot immediately, getting Korean stones crowded towards the centre there.
Okay, very nice kids. Okay.
So a deep breath from Katlin Riedebach. And then pushing the stone forward. Of course, all the power for wheelchair curlers coming from upper body strength. For foot curlers, all the power for the throw comes from leg drive. And it's hard work. Moving all these stones only with upper body strength. Each stone weighs 20 kilos. And that's a great start for Katlin Riedebach. The Estonian mixed doubles curling team, they are the Estonian Paralympic Winter Games team. This pair representing the whole of Estonia. So whatever happens here, they should feel absolutely proud of what they've achieved. There are some big traditional curling names who did not qualify for this inaugural mixed doubles event. Canada did not qualify. Norway and Sweden did not qualify for this mixed doubles. But Estonia did. And so whatever happens here, that is a huge achievement. And what is actually happening here is both teams coming out to a great start here. Lee Yong-suk just following that same path. We can see the centre getting pretty busy already. It is Korea who have the last stone advantage, the hammer. You can see the little hammer icon on our screen there. They have last stone advantage in this first end. Korea throwing red. That red then almost exactly in the middle. But if you're Estonia, what do you want to do in this first end? You don't have last stone advantage. And at this early stage, you don't mind giving up 1 point to Korea. And what you will often see are teams deciding exactly that. That's one of the most important strategic things to remember if you're learning curling and you're learning tactics. Very often in curling, -1 point. So a point through their position, that's fine for you. That's what Estonia will be aiming for. They don't mind giving up 1 red point. They don't really want to let Korea get too far ahead at this early stage, though. And that's why we see the Estonians just following the stones played by Korea. Just try to really close down that scoring area, make it very difficult for Korea to make more than 1 point at this first end.
Okay. Okay.
A highly accurate start from all 4 players out there. Remember, 7 out of 8 teams can still qualify for semi-finals after this final session. And all 4 games on the ice, involving all 8 teams, all 4 games, the results are critical to the final standings. It couldn't be any closer. And that is wonderful news for the very first wheelchair mixed doubles competition here at Paralympic Winter Games.
Okay.
Kathleen Riedebach just coming up a bit short with her final throw of this first end. Can Lee Yong-suk take advantage of that? He hasn't quite found the right line there, though. What he has done, though, I think, is really put a blockage on that anti-clockwise handle. Is there still a path through the gap there? Well, Kathleen Riedebach thinks there is. Now, the faster the stone is going, the less it curls. And in this case, you actually start the other way around. This stone cannot curl very much, so he's going to have to throw this pretty hard to get it through that gap. That is not a big gap, I can assure you. Last throw of the first end for Ayan Bilal of Estonia. There's a picture of concentration. He has not found the gap, though, and unfortunately he has maybe made a nice path towards the centre there, as Lee Yong-suk is indicating. A pretty narrow gap there, really, and not quite finding the right path there, Ayan Bilal, and unfortunately for Estonian fans, that has opened up a path to the centre for Baek Hae-jin. Baek Hae-jin, she will not get much of a more open chance. Just to drop another red into scoring position. This looks lovely from her. This looks lovely. She has tons of backing. She hardly needs it. That is 1, 2, 3 reds. What a start for Korea after the first end. Korea lead Estonia 3-0.
Lähed paned ise kivi paika?
Jah, ma panen ise, siis sina alusta.
Okei, davai.
A dream start for Korea after the first end. Really precise play from the very first stone. And a big score of 3 for them. Baek Hae-jin throwing the first stone in end 2 of our featured game. We are in the final round robin session for the inaugural mixed doubles event and wheelchair curling. 7 out of 8 teams can still qualify for semi-finals. That's how tight the competition is.
5-1.
That stone just slipping long
Okay.
for Bayek. And important for Estonia. They lost 3 there in that first end, and now they have hammer. They have last stone advantage in this second end. If you get points in an end, your opposition gets last stone advantage in the following end. And important for Estonia is not to panic. Still very early in the game. We're only in the second end. And particularly in the mixed doubles discipline, it's designed to be more aggressive in terms of scoring points.
4-1.
Plenty of time, plenty of ends left for Estonia to grab this 3-point gap. We play 8 ends in mixed doubles. Both teams have 26 minutes thinking time. Estonian thinking time, their clock will come on once this red stone comes to rest, about now. And the clock goes off once the Estonian stone is released. A little bit like chess, once you've finished playing, you hit the clock and your opposition, their time starts. So yeah, both teams start with 26 minutes. We play 8 ends. If scores are tied after 8 ends, we will play an extra end. We must have a winner.
Yep.
And as we can see, Estonia making use of that rule that we spoke about. 2 teammates can switch positions at any point. You can switch every end if you wish to. And it is Katlin Riedebach who has now switched to throwing stones 1 and 5, and her teammate Ian Villau, he is now throwing stones 2, 3 and 4. Doesn't happen too often that you see the teammates switching positions, but sometimes it can really help, depending how comfortable someone is with draw weight. So accurately and consistently getting your stones to land in the rings in the house. That's particularly important with stones 1 and 5. And sometimes, yeah, it can be helpful to just switch it up. And what a throw from Lee Hyung-suk for an encore. He has covered the hole right in the middle. Objectives in this second end. Look at that first shot. Covering the Paralympic logo right in the middle. And may I remind you that the wheelchair players, not only are they using upper body strength rather than leg drive, there's also no adjustment on their delivery. They just have that one smooth forward movement with the arm.
Okay.
And the most obvious one, they don't have sweepers. So achieving accuracy in the wheelchair game, it just has a higher level of difficulty than achieving accuracy in foot player game. And for Lee Hyung-suk, no problem for him. Putting all the pressure on Estonia, and that is exactly what Korea want to do in this second end. They're +3. It's still very early in the game. We're only in end 2 out of 8. Korea, they just want to try to make sure that Estonia cannot put lots of points back on the board immediately. Again, they don't really mind if they give up 1 point, 1 yellow. That's okay for Korea.
Yep.
What they don't want is a big basket full of yellow points coming back at them, and one way of achieving that is to get to the centre first. Exactly like we've just seen from Korea. Oh dear, that's not it at all. I don't speak Estonian, so I can't confirm what the team discussion was about there. But that has unhelped. That's given Korea another stone to play with.
묻어도 돼. 롱가드보다 들어와. 탑가드, 미들.
롱가드.
롱가드 하지 마.
This Korean team relatively new on the scene. Korea has teams in the mixed doubles event and the four-person wheelchair curling event. And Korea traditionally very strong in wheelchair curling. And the mixed doubles team here, they are the current world bronze medalists. But still relatively new to the scene, relatively new to this level. But gosh, playing like they've been here for much longer than they have. Superb debut for this pair at the Paralympic Winter Games. Life not getting any easier for Estonia. They do have an outside chance. If they can win this game, they will go to 3 wins. And then if other results go their way, they do have a chance still to qualify for semi-finals. The top 4 teams going through. But they're struggling a bit at this early stage, the final round robin game. Ian Villau not having a great end there in the second end. He hasn't given his partner very much to work with her last shot. That was the situation before, and yeah, again, not quite finding the angle. He wanted to move more than one red there. But dream start for Korea. Lee Yong-suk holding the broom for his teammate, almost needing to borrow some of the carpet. The ice has been very consistent out there. Nice and fast, nice and curly. That is championship ice. And that is a fine shot from Baek Haejin. Korea, as we said, they don't need to take risks. Korea are already +3. That superb shot right on the pin from Lee Yong-suk. That's still there. No need for Baek Haejin to take a risk there, play a more difficult shot. She just wanted to block access on the clockwise handle, and she's done that beautifully. So we see Estonia going to the other side of the sheet. They need to play now the anti-clockwise handle. I don't know if this has got quite enough gas to get there, does it? Oh, it's not bad. It is not bad. Oh, what a brave effort from Kathleen Riedebach. She does not quite outcount that red stone, but what an effort from her. That will be a point. to Korea, a stolen point. They lead 4-0.
mul üldse näitab 2,5 värvi lausa. 2,5.
After 2 ends then, it is Korea who have jumped out to a fabulous start for them. Really precise play right from the beginning. They are 4-0 ahead as we go into the third. We're getting used to seeing our ice player assistants. You could see one of them just standing behind by Ek Haijin in 4-person wheelchair curling. Typically you have a couple of teammates, or at least one teammate with you at the throwing end, and he or she typically just positions their chair behind yours. And then once you've put your brake on, they just hold on to your wheels and make sure you don't slip backwards as you are throwing the stone forwards. But very often in mixed doubles, you have one player at either end, and that's when our ice player assistants, they will jump in. And you can see there again. You can either hold the wheels or put a shoe under the wheel just to make sure it doesn't slip. And that's more like it. That is a nice throw from Kathleen Riedebach. She played a really lovely throw with her final shot in that second end, and she needs to take confidence from that. It was very difficult to outcount the Korean stone in the second end, but she's really kept that weight in her pocket. And that's what's going to get Estonia back into this game. Objectives in this fourth end, in this third end, pretty similar to the second end. And in fact, the level of precision, pretty similar to the second end. That man, Lee Young-suk, well, he's not going to go home wondering. You just want to leave your best curling out there, win or lose. You want to feel like, yep, I've played my best stones. If the opposition could play better than that, good for them. But if I was coaching a team, that's always what I would want them to feel like. Win or lose, leave your best stones out there on the ice. And Lee Young-suk is definitely playing with that sort of approach. He's really asking the question of Estonia early in this seventh session of mixed doubles. And unfortunately, his opposition, Ian Villau, just not finding that consistent weight at the moment. And Katlyn Riedebach just looking a bit glum
이쪽으로 하나 더 들어올래?
at the
아니면
playing
이쪽으로
end.
가자 할까? 가드 앞이야.
This end then looking fairly familiar for us viewers. We saw something quite similar.
가드야. 14초 반.
Quite similar in the second end. That man there, Lee Young-suk,
넓게 봐, 넓게.
just covering the pin with a red stone and then spending the rest of the end just trying to block access. Dunk some more red stones in front. Korea are +4. They don't need to pile any more red stones towards the centre. They've got one there already. So this is exactly the right shot. Just want to block up the gaps. Don't give access to that red stone on the centre to Estonia. That stone then just over the green hog line, the big thick green horizontal line. All the stone has to be over all of that line to be in play. And that was absolutely on purpose from that man. There you can see that red just thrown by Lee Young-suk, really blocking access to the centre on the clockwise handle. The curling stone, you always have to put a handle on it. You will always curl it either clockwise, so going from left to right from the throwing end, or anti-clockwise, so right to left from the throwing end. If you fail to put a handle on, then the stone, it just kind of wiggles its way along the ice, really. It will find, you know, little ups and downs in the ice, and it will find some sort of path, but you can't control it at all. It will be highly unpredictable, and that's why you turn the stone clockwise or anti-clockwise. You aim for the brush that teammate is holding there. Baek Haejin up in the head, holding onto the brush. You aim for the brush, and brush plus curl equals stone in target place. You can see at the end of the delivery stick there that all the players have, there's a sort of hinged little piece that goes over the handle. So that's instead of putting your hand over the handle. You can actually throw the stone with your hand if you want. That's how we used to do it long ago in wheelchair curling. Right at the beginning, about 20 years ago, when wheelchair curling was really just starting. You just kind of hung your arm over the side of your chair and just, throw the stone with your arm, just like foot players do. But definitely much easier to use the delivery stick. And there we can see it again. There's the little hinged piece at the end. That's slipping over the handle there. And then you can just turn your throwing hand as you release it, and the little hinge transmits that curl onto the stone. There, you can get a nice view of it there. Ian Villau, this one coming in at pace. He needs to clear a space for his partner. Oh, he's so close to getting good shots in here. He just needed a fraction less curl on that stone, and he would have cleared out that red as well. Just a little bit less curl, the red would have gone as well. He's having a frustrating game so far, Ian Villau. He's not giving his partner much to work with for stone number 5. In contrast, by Haijin, fairly straightforward shot for her when you're learning curling. Oftentimes when you're a junior, you learn it's not exactly a joke, but you will hear your coaches saying, you know, the person throwing last stones, they should only ever be throwing guards. And what they mean is your teammates should have done enough work to set up the end for you, that all you're ever doing is guarding, blocking that good work. And it doesn't always turn out that way, but certainly when it does, then you know that your teammates have been playing very nice stones indeed, and that is exactly what Baek Haijin has been facing with her. Shot number 5. The two of them really having a wonderful start here.
That's it. Oh, 5-2.
Okay. Ja.
Okay.
Last throw of the third end for Kathleen Riedebach. Oh, she has a perfect line, but that's just going to come up short again. If I could have given her a couple of magical sweepers, I'm sure they could have dragged that stone much further. But the level of difficulty, the degree of difficulty for each stone harder in wheelchair curling, that will be a steal of 1 to Korea. And they will go 5-0 ahead.
Ja praegu võtaks powerplay.
Kuidas mängime?
Mängime nii.
선수들이 나오래.
도도, 너 가서 정리해. 나 여기서 던지는.
못 나가. 우리가 못 나가. 못 나가.
파워플레이 했나?
나갔다 뭐라는 거지.
아.
It will again be Baek Haijin from Korea, throwing the first stone in now the fourth end. And what's that has appeared on the scoreboard behind us? It's a little yellow box. And that means that Estonia have called a power play. And we can see that at the playing end as well. The stones differently placed. Instead of being on the centre line, the stones are placed to the side. It is the choice of the playing team. It's Estonia's choice which side they prefer. There's no rule about that. And what does power play mean? Well, the power play setup is more aggressive. That means it's a more aggressive setup, having the stones off to the side, than it is having the stones placed in the centre. And because that's more aggressive, the power play is designed to give a bit of a boost, a bit of a helping hand to the team that have called it. It is designed to set up such that you score more than 1 point. And I think Estonia were wise to call power play at this point. Typically you see it more in the second half of the game. But yeah, I think Estonia, they really need to switch this up. They need to start getting points on the board here. So I think that was a good call for them to call the power play. It hasn't quite started as they wanted. But the rules are still the same in power play. This is only the third stone that's coming. Korea not allowed to remove stones with the third stone. You must wait until 3 stones are played. And now that's come to rest. Now stones can be removed. But Korea just nailing that 4-foot circle. That's the green circle.
Ja mis kiirus?
Arvan sinu täiskiirus.
Curling was invented a very long time ago. Long before
See võtab
meters and
kaitse.
centimeters.
Või võta, jaa.
And so even the most metric of countries and players, you will still hear them refer to the 12-foot circle. That's the blue one. The 8-foot circle is white. And here in the Cortina Curling Olympic Stadium, the 4-foot, the all-important 4-foot, that's where you want to have control. That's the green circle. The colours don't mean anything. You don't get more points somehow if you're in the green circle or rather than the blue circle. It's just to help your eyes. But even with the more aggressive setup, calling power play, Estonia are just really struggling out there. And in fact, Korea looking to now just remove that Estonian counter on the side of the sheet. And if they can, they will have fairly effectively
영상아 좀 좁혀줄까?
neutralised the power play entirely.
웨이트 약하지만 안쪽 맞는 게 좋아.
The whole idea is to keep play away from the centre, build some points over on the side of the sheet, leaving the centre free for last thrower. And that is exactly what they've done. Of course, this is an exhibition display currently from Korea. So no more stones placed or played over towards the side of the sheet. And Estonia right to call power play, but really not making the most of it.
Veel kitsas, liiguta tooliga.
Now being forced to play towards the centre again then.
Oota, natuke lai.
And that's exactly what they didn't want. That's exactly why they wanted power play, to try to keep the centre free. So that's better from Ian Bilal. Gets all 3 reds moving. 2 of them out of play. 1 of them still hanging around. But far more space, far more options for Estonia to get into a scoring position now. We're in the 4th end out of 8. And I think really the half-time break cannot come too soon for Estonia. They really need to just settle down, regroup a bit, need to find some consistency. Whereas Korea, goodness me, they are just not taking their foot off the gas at all. That is precisely where they said they were going to play. Again, he doesn't need this red that he just threw, Lee Young-suk. He doesn't need it to be right in the centre. He already has a shot right in the centre. Korea's already several points ahead. That's exactly where he wants that stone to land. Blocking that path. for Estonia. Good effort from Ian Vilau, a little bit unlucky not to catch the other red on the way through. But that's a yellow stone that they can use with Kathleen Riedebach's final throw. Really close to catching both reds with that one.
많이 잡아야 돼.
That yellow just thrown by Ian Vilau does represent a little bit of danger for Korea. But there is also danger in trying to remove it. What they don't want to do is just punch that yellow backwards straight onto their own red. So this was a courageous call. But again, perfectly done by Korea. I'm not sure where this pair have been hiding. As I said, they're fairly new to wheelchair curling, pretty new at this level.
Okay.
But wherever they've been hiding themselves all this time, they must have been throwing a lot of stones. They are just fantastic here at their first outing at Paralympic Winter Games. Really asking the question of Estonia, and Estonia really struggling for consistency here in this first half.
Okay.
Kathleen Riedebach then, again, aiming for a Korean stone that is right on the pin. And again, she's not bad. Oh, she's just not going to quite get round the guard out front though, and that will be another point to Korea. After the fourth end then. And I think, yeah, let's have a half-time break, Estonia. Let's just settle down, regroup, but it will be Korea going into the halfway break. And they're ahead 6-0.
Et kui oleks kinni pandud, siis sa tuled seal. Aga sul variant olemas ka lüüa.
목이 계속 말라서
그래.
끓여 먹고.
좋아. 계속. 분위기, 이제 다 풀렸어. 계속, 그래도 계속 집중.
네, 맞아요. 끝까지.
딱 그럴 것 같았어. 제일 젖을 것 같았어. 근데 지금
Üks meid ei päästa. Tuleb riskida. Kätlin keskel, ma arvan. Praegu on see ujub. Ma arvan küll, jah. On okei sulle?
Jah. Ei, ma tunnen füüsiliselt tead. Okei.
아직 이긴 거 아니에요.
The story of the first half of this game. Absolute precision from the Koreans. Estonia looking at a Korean shot right in the middle. Time after time, Korea making use of last stone in the first end. And then neutralising Estonian attack with better attack. Just peppering the centre, peppering the forefoot with Korean counters. Estonia needs to start finding some consistency in the second half. Both teams can still qualify for semi-finals, but they both need to win to be sure. Time after time, such precision from the Koreans. Only asking the question of Estonia, and Estonia not finding the answers. Neutralising the power play even. Estonia urgently need to find some form here. There is the overview, and goodness me, what a difference. Look at those stats on the Korean side. We'll come back to that later, but those are some outstanding stats for foot players, never mind wheelchair players, who have a higher degree of difficulty, and thoroughly well deserved, you have to say. 6-0 lead for Korea over Estonia.
Värk, aga kui sa supi teed, ei tea ka palju soolu, no paned liiga palju soola.
얼음이 잘 안 타는 것 같아. 너 바짝 하면은 이게 얼음이 안쪽으로 타요.
잡는 거 자체를 아예 조금씩 하면 이렇게 잡아줘도 돼. 그래, 이런 먹으면서는
라인 맞았으면은 정확히 섰을 것 같긴 한데.
통 맞는 걸로. 이것도 약해서 그냥 들어야 된다.
열로 잡아줘.
열로 잡아줘. 혹시 또 타이트해지면 앞에 걸리면.
그렇죠.
There is the story then of the first half. Real positive start for Korea, and they have not taken their foot off the gas since. Really putting pressure on Estonia, and Estonia struggling to come up with the answers. The Korean fans, they have all dressed beautifully for the occasion. They will be delighted with their team's progress as we head into the fifth end. Stones placed in the centre again. Each team has one power play, and Estonia trying to use theirs in the fourth end, but really not making the most of it. And for the sake of good curling, let's hope that the Estonian team have a good get-together at the half-time break. Just try not to let their confidence wobble. Really just try to focus stone by stone. It's absolutely possible in mixed doubles with this more aggressive setup compared to the four-person discipline. The placing of stones already, that's quite an aggressive setup. And that certainly facilitates the team that are behind. That facilitates them trying to grab points, or conversely, the team who are already ahead, it is much more difficult to stay ahead, to defend your lead. Much more difficult in mixed doubles compared with four-person. And that's due to stones already being in play in mixed doubles, as well as more restrictive rules around removing stones from play. Estonia, then, they can certainly still grab this game back, but they need to start playing more consistently. And they have switched positions again, Estonia. It is Ian Vilau who's now throwing first and fifth stone, and Kathleen Liedebach throwing 2, 3 and 4. Korea sticking to their lineup. And no need to change anything for them. It was a fine start from his teammate Baek Haijin, and that is a fine follow-up from Lee Yong-suk. This team really has just kind of sprung into existence, really good. In wheelchair curling, you always take a Korean team seriously. They're typically pretty strong. Good strength and depth in Korean wheelchair curling. And that's more like it from Kathleen Liedebach. Just opening up some space in the centre. Just need to take it stone by stone, Estonia. It is absolutely possible, especially in mixed doubles, to make up a 6-point gap in 4 ends. It is definitely possible. And they just need to take it stone by stone, every stone contributing to bridging that gap. They're really faced with such precision, though, from this Korean team. I'm slightly surprised this Korean team have lost any games, if this is how they're playing. Korea really playing like a team who knows if they win this game, they have all but guaranteed themselves a place in semi-finals.
Yeah, okay.
They would move to 4 wins. And they really seem to have taken that to heart, the Korean team. They want to have their destiny in their own hands. They could still qualify. If they don't win this game, Korea, they would stay on 3 wins and they could still qualify from that position. But much harder, they would be looking at other results going their way. And Korea very much playing like a team who want to get themselves into the semi-finals and not be relying on favourable results from other games. And that shot, unfortunately, rather summing up Estonia's experience here. She has neither cleared the guard nor cleared the shot in the house. Here is a good time to point out that at the curling club, the regular curling club, it is absolutely normal for wheelchair players to play with everyone else. And wouldn't you like to have either Baek Haijin or Lee Yong-suk on your team at the club? They are just dropping stones exactly where they want them. As we said, the degree of difficulty for a shot in wheelchair curling, there are multiple factors affecting that, meaning that it's simply harder to achieve accuracy in wheelchair curling than it is in foot curling. But at the club, those differences not so important as they are at this highest level. And for example, we have several wheelchair players at my home club, and none of my teammates, I'm a foot player, but none of my teammates would even comment if I couldn't make a game one day and I called one of our wheelchair colleagues and asked if they could play instead of me. If I informed the team that so-and-so is going to play, and yeah, they know they're a wheelchair player, and it's so normal, you wouldn't even comment on it. So if you're a wheelchair user, or you have a friend or a colleague, curling is super accessible for a wheelchair user. You don't need any adjustment to your day-to-day chair. You'll see some of these guys, they maybe have a grip or a handle, but to start out, you certainly don't need any of that. You can just come along in your day-to-day chair. The curling club will have a delivery stick, like you see these folks using. It's adjustable. And as I said, you don't even need a dedicated wheelchair club. I know people who are the only wheelchair player at their curling club, and they just play with everyone else. Oh boy. This is relentless from Korea. What a performance.
Ei oska öelda. Täiskiirusega ei tule.
Of course, there's almost not a shot here for Estonia. I'm not sure if you can simultaneously throw a stone fast enough and hard enough to move one or both reds on the centre and hang around yourself. It would have to be going pretty fast to move them. And yeah, you can't even really see more than an edge of that red.
Oota, sa mõtled 7? Võtame 50 prossa ja plus 4.
As we said at the beginning, though, this Estonian pair, they are the Estonian Paralympic Winter Games team. This is the only team that's qualified. Estonia don't have a team in the 4-person. And this is the only discipline where Estonia as the country is competing. So this team from Estonia, they have already done better than plenty of big names just to qualify for this competition, we do not have a mixed doubles team from Canada, nor do we have a mixed doubles team from Norway or from Sweden. So some really big names did not qualify for this inaugural mixed doubles competition. And Estonia did. So at the moment, they must feel like they're a bit under the cosh. But whatever happens here, they need to remind themselves that it is a very big deal being one of only 8 countries to even qualify for our very first mixed doubles wheelchair curling event. And that was always the risk. That was such a difficult shot, even with sweepers to help guide your stone on the line. Incredibly difficult without. That is 3 red. And the Korean team just going from strength to strength out there. Adding 3 to their total, it is 9-0 to Korea. Korea playing like a team determined to be in charge of their own destiny. Get a 4th win on the board to send them to semi-finals. That is the situation. After 5 ends, it is Korea leading 9-0. And none of us are surprised to see another fabulous start from Haejin Baek. I really want to emphasize that the degree of difficulty of every shot for wheelchair curling, the degree of difficulty is higher. Achieving accuracy for the same shot in wheelchair curling, it is harder. And so to achieve this level of accuracy for Baek, Haejin and Lee Yong-suk, they're achieving this level of accuracy with nobody sweeping, no sweepers to help drag the stone a little further or help influence the direction of the stone. They're achieving this accuracy with only upper body strength, no leg drive. And they are achieving this accuracy with no adjustment to their delivery. It's more comparable to a standing throw for a foot player, a static throw. And I really want to emphasize how impressive this is when there are multiple factors just increasing the difficulty in wheelchair curling. And still the Koreans, they are just dropping stones as if they're on remote control. game accuracy there for Lee Yong-suk. The percentages, they were really developed for the foot player game, or rather they assume to some extent that you're not a wheelchair curler, because they really don't take into account that higher degree of difficulty for multiple reasons that the wheelchair curlers have. And an additional consideration, let's say, is the involvement of the ice player assistant. So that's not someone that's your usual teammate or someone you've maybe known already, and you're really relying on our ice player assistants out there. They're volunteering their time. And that's just another consideration. It's another aspect to the delivery, an aspect of consistency that foot players don't need to worry about. And he's done it again. Lee Yong-suk. He has blocked the hole to the centre.
Mul ei ole võimalik pesta tulla, et kollane on ees.
Kollast edasi. Okei.
That not at all what Kathleen Liederbach was looking for. It's a bit of a confidence shredder for the Estonian team. Yeah, she doesn't catch any of the stones on the way past there. And they really need to just keep saying to themselves, Estonia, just stone by stone. And what an achievement it is to qualify for the inaugural mixed doubles wheelchair curling event at Paralympic Winter Games. Remind yourselves that there are multiple very traditional curling countries who did not qualify. And also remind yourself that without your team, without your mixed doubles wheelchair curling team, Estonia would not have any representatives here at Paralympic Winter Games. And all of those things add up to a big achievement for the Estonian pair out there on the ice. They are really suffering in this game here, just nothing going right for them. But after they shake off that frustration and disappointment, they should feel very, very proud of what they've achieved here.
Ikka kitsas. Oti.
Same idea for Kathleen Liederbach. Just trying to clear some space, try to clear a path for her teammate to reach the centre with his last throw. And that's a better connection this time. Strategy at least pretty easy for Korea. They already have a red right in the centre. They're just trying to protect it, try to block access to it. And well, gosh, it was bound to happen at some point. It's an unperfect shot from Lee Yong-suk. Just slipping on a little bit further than he wanted, finally. Estonia have really had very few misses or chances from Korea. They need to try to make the most of this one now. Kathleen Wiedebach using that half shot from Korea. It slipped on a little bit too deep, and now she does have stones to work with. She's left her partner a chance to get a yellow in with last stone. Ideal would be a little bit roll towards that center line there. Well, she has set up hopefully a chance. As you can see from her accuracy, we have not had too many mistakes or chances from Bayek Haijin either. Korea pulling out all the stops in this final round robin game. Well, just a little mistake creeping in for her as well. And that means that Estonia has a chance. I feel like I might have stuck to the other handle. It's a more familiar path for the stone. But typically in curling, there's not really a right or wrong decision. If you make your shots, everything's the right idea. And often it just comes down to how comfortable the individual is playing a particular shot. Final throw of the sixth end for Ian Vilau. He is not going to be able to pick off that red on the centre. And it looks like Korea calling a technical timeout. No, they're not.
Okay.
In fact, Estonia saying, this is not our game.
Okay.
And they are offering handshakes. So what a performance from Korea. They and their fans absolutely delighted. I said, what I love to see from teams is leave your best shots on the ice. If it's not enough, good for your opposition. And my goodness me, did Korea leave their best shots out there. What a performance from them. There is the overall result in just 6 ends. It is a huge score of 10-0 to Korea over Estonia.
기뻐서 그래요?
Work.
Inimesed on okei või? Ma mõtlen just need asetused.
Stats there, really telling a story. Didn't they play their best game today, the Korean team? They will be delighted. Their ever smiley coach, he will be delighted with the team's progress as well. Commiserations to Estonia. Yeah, that not their game. They were really struggling. But what an achievement. Qualifying as one of only 8 countries in this first mixed doubles wheelchair competition. And they are the Paralympic Winter Games team from Estonia. Good for them. There's the overview.